What's up, guys? Cousteau Christopher VFX here, and today we're gonna be shooting off this guy's arm with this. What? All right, Tebby, you ready?
Yep.
What's up, guys? Cousteau Christopher VFX here. So we are on our 4th tutorial. This is a really cool one, so I hope you guys stick with it for the whole time. So basically, going through this frame by frame, this is what we're going to be doing. Just this kind of arm getting blown off by a shotgun. Yeah, so pretty gory, pretty gross. We have like some tendon-like things here. We have the blood, and we have this bloody arm stump right here. Alright, so I'm just going to go through really quickly each layer and how I did all this. So, first off, we have our clean slate. So, basically, you put your actor and what you want in front of this clean slate, so when you mask around them, you don't have weird just black area behind them. This is very useful, especially when you don't have a green screen. So basically what I had my actor Tebby here, Andrew, what I had him do was move back and act like he got shot. I had him not move his arm too much. Alright, so once we had that, then I just had him do a kind of flailing motion with his arm right here, and then I masked around his arm and animated it. So here's the clip of Andrew just waving his arm. So yeah, so once we got those 3 clips, me shooting the shotgun at Tebby and him moving backwards like he just got shot, and him just flailing his arms all against a clean slate, we kind of just have this once you animate the arm. And it doesn't look that good. Where's the blood? What's going on? So, that is when I added the bloody arm stumps. So, I went pretty advanced on this. I went into Mudbox and 3ds Max, and I created this bloody arm stump. So, what you can also do here, you can get like a JPEG or create your own kind of gory texture in Photoshop. I just decided to make this and model this in 3D, so have my own custom kind of arm stump. So once I did that, I animated the arm stump. So as you see here, I have a hell of a lot of keyframes. I did not feel like trying to track this because I felt like it would take up too much time, but it actually turned out to look pretty good if you do it correctly. And also, this is a huge After Effects kind of secret tool, etc. I just took a picture of my 3D model. So this is not 3D whatsoever. It is actually a 2D image. But when you go over to scale, what I did is I squished it down horizontally here, so it gives the impression that when he moves his arm backwards, it is actually rotating in 3D space. Just a little trick you can do. So I keyframed a bunch of position points, and I keyframed a bunch of scale points to make it look like it was actually rotating. And then I did the rotation points for when Andrew moved his arm up and down. And that gave us the basic animation of our arm stump after I masked around Tebby. Alright, and then for this arm, I just masked around the arm, and then for each single frame, and then once I had done that, I put it on I put it on this pathway right here, as you can see. So it kind of jumps off and falls down backwards. Also, very important, what I did here. When you're shooting a shotgun at someone's arm, it's not just going to go sideways off. That's not realistic. So what I did here was I got the scale, and I keyframed the scale properties so that it got smaller. So this gives the impression that it is actually not just going sideways, but it is going backwards too. That looks pretty gross. Alright, so next thing I did is I added blood. So I got Action Essentials here. I got just these two kind of blood bursts. These are just the normal front blood bursts. But what I did is, you can see they're kind of blurry, don't really look like the normal Action Essentials blood bursts. I added a directional or a Gaussian blur to... No, I'm sorry, a directional blur to both of them. So that just gives it the impression that it is blending in with the background. It isn't just there, and it's actually moving. It gives that dynamic feel. So what I also did is I took one of my own blood bursts that you can find on Cousteau ChristopherVFX.com, and I added it to the arm blood hit. So this is just what it looks like, kind of without any blur effects or anything. And that's what it looks like without the brightness and contrast. So I just animated this with position keyframes so that it kind of would stay here for this kind of part, but then fall down. And I also got the scale keyframes again and just scaled it down a little bit to give it the effect that it's actually moving backwards and not towards the camera. So yeah, so once I got my own personal blood hits and the Action Essentials blood hits, I just put the brightness and contrast filter on them and directional blur and made them blend into the background. So that's how I got the blood hit part. Now, what I found to be super important here is that I got dark red solid, and this is what gave me this kind of tendon snapping effect. So if we take away all the blood hits here and just work with the dark red solid, this is what it looks like. As you can kind of see, it's snapping. And what I did here is I literally just masked these shapes. As you can see, it looks kind of messy with all these masks, but I just kind of masked them together so it looked like they were tearing apart. And then I just kind of animated it myself with masking the I keyframed the mask path and just kind of animated it so you got some extra detail there. So with all of that in place, we get our final kind of blood hit right here, and you get the tendons kind of snapping apart. You get your blood hit going backwards, and you got this little kind of stump thing going on. So then I was like, okay, well, this looks all, pretty good, but I felt they could use a little bit more. It's just like, oh, boom, there's a blood hit, there's nothing else. That I felt that was kind of weird. So what I did is I also got another one of my CG blood hits. As you can see here, I got this blood burst, and I made it come out of his arm because it looks like it's, maybe like an artery or something still pumping blood and, dripping blood out of the artery. So without any effects on it, this is kind of what it looks like. Just kind of spurting out of the arm. Little drip. And then to make it look realistic, I added the brightness and contrast filter and the directional blur again. Directional blur with these kind of effects, it's going to be a huge, huge help to making it look realistic. Alright, so I would say with everything I just went over, that was pretty much how I did it. And of course, I just added a quick little muzzle flash to the shotgun. No biggie, just literally pasted it on. I didn't mess with it at all. And yeah, That's how I got this blood hit. Alright, cool. So I think this wraps up this tutorial. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I know I went over this kind of fast, and probably pretty vaguely, so if you do have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to use the comment section below. There are no stupid questions, and if you post something, I will try to respond as soon as I can. Also, please feel free to check out my website, CousteauChristopherVFX.com. Also, be ready to check out this next tutorial. It is going to be just as bloody, just as gory, probably even more awesome. Alright guys, you have a fun rest of your day blowing your friend's arm off. See ya.